Alrighty, the king is back, and we're ready for a new adventure in the checking of checks and captures. So, what I'm going to ask you to do is you need to pause and really take a look at this puzzle because this is not going to be one of the easy ones you've been used to. This one, by popular demand, has become a little bit more challenging. Again, it's one of my favorites. So, again, all you have to do is just look at the checks and then see what's going on. The best way to take and look at the checks is to look at the checks for the queen first, then look at the checks for the rook, then look at the checks for the bishops, then look at the checks for the knights, then look at the checks for the pawns. Once you've taken enumerated them all, then the best thing to do is probably even to take and write columns and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and put a check at the top of it, and start seeing if you run out of checks and run out of moves. Do that for each check systematically, whether it looks like you already know the answer or not. And you're going to find out that you're going to come out sometimes thinking you know the answer, but you don't. But the more you follow the routine, the more you're going to get the right answer the first time. And this is going to help you out across the board. So hopefully you did take a minute to pause. Hopefully you're trying to write down the solution. That's how your brain remembers both the correct answer and the wrong answer the best. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first move is going to be bishop takes pawn check. From here, we get king takes. Now this brings us to an important part of why I picked this particular example. Most of the really devastating combinations you're going to do to your opponent don't involve one sacrifice. They're typically going to involve two. If you kept thinking rook takes pawn first and then queen comes up and the knight comes up and you try to figure out what to do, that's part of you not following your full rotation. And it might be a little bit of the fact that you're only doing checks and captures when you come to these puzzles. If you're not doing checks and captures while you're routinely playing, then you're still going to have material sensitivity, and combinations that involve you giving up more than one piece are going to hide from you. Don't let them hide. Just keep working the system. So the king's got two choices here. He can either take or he can run up. If he runs up, that's a real quick death sentence. All you're going to do is you just play the queen up to g4, and he's going to die next move. I don't think there's anything that can be done to prevent queen to g7 mate. And, it's all over. He can play just about anything he wants. And checkmate is not far away. So we're not going to waste a lot of time on that. The challenging one of it all is when he takes the rook. And this is what shows you what's going on. Check. That's what I call a hee-hee-ha. Because there's nothing he can do. If he comes up here, that's automatically going to be mate. Just simply with queen to h5 and it's mate because you cut off the retreat square. If he goes back, then you're going to play queen up, and then he can play the knight up. You're going to play here, and then when he goes here, you've got your choice of either checkmate or checkmate. So these problems will start to look simpler to you and simpler to you as you take and spend more time becoming acquainted with looking at the checks and captures in a detached Mr. Spock-like routine. I mean, this is chess. Everything's sitting right in front of you. So you have the opportunity, if you choose to take and literally just keep looking at variations until you see what's going on. You're only looking at a few checks. So being a good chess player is not a matter of skill. It's not a matter of how smart you are. Being a good chess player is a matter of discipline. But in order to take and exercise a discipline, you have to have the right what? System. So every check and every capture every time, regardless of what you think, whether they can take you or not, whether it makes sense or not, lets you take it and see even further. Because now you can see bishop takes, and you know that's the only thing you can do. You come down here with rook takes, he's got two choices, but you know that one's no good. I mean, even if you wanted to go the long route, you could go knight to h5, and then after the king goes to g5, you just go queen to d2. I know some of you are going, I can't see that far. You can't see that far, because the only time you're working on checks is when you get here. But even if you want to go the long way, and play knight to h5, and he plays here, he plays check. What's he going to do? If he plays king to h4, he's toast. All you do is play queen to f4, and that's mate. So he's got to play here. Still got a problem, don't we? So now what happens? That's right. The only choice he's got is king to h4. And after king to h4, same mate we were going to have before. Just queen f4. And he's toast. So thank you for your time. Appreciate you coming to hang out with us. As always, we should put the pieces back to their original position. Take a look at the board. Make sure if we saw this next week, next month, next year, we'd still be able to solve it. And then share it with your friends. See if they're able to take and solve it. I guarantee you that you're going to have somebody sit down and go, oh, it's just rook takes pawn. Rook takes pawn. And that's not going to be it. And if you go bishop takes pawn, they're going to want to try to figure it out with queen to g4 and that kind of stuff, because nobody wants to give up two pieces. And if nobody wants to give up two pieces, nobody's expecting you to give up two pieces. So do your best. Please subscribe. And don't hesitate to ask questions, because we're always checking. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed our puzzle today. And we'll see you soon with more checks and captures.